love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out.
Is it recording? Pause. Hello, Miami. Thank you so much for watching 305 Sports Now. I am your host, Will, and I just gotta say a few things. I'm glad to be back in terms of talking Miami Hurricanes football. I know I took a week, even though I had some shorts here and there. I just had to say that I do miss talking to you guys about the Miami Hurricanes, amongst other things sports related as well. I do have a lot of announcements coming in for this week, so just pay attention, stay tuned, as I will be giving them at the end of the program. All right, so the first thing I want to go over, as you can tell from the thumbnail, the main focus of this show today is going to be revolving around Mesidor and Ruben Bain. Okay, we all know that the Miami Hurricanes had a very disappointing defensive line this year, and many cases was either they failed to get to the quarterback for whatever reasons, for many reasons actually. I believe it was a lot of the schematics that had to do with Guidry's defense, but also the front four, which is supposed to be Miami's strength, was also very much culpable for a lot of the defects in terms of run defense as well. So those are all things that we're going to go over today, and why I think that the future does look bright, as I'm cautiously optimistic about the Heatherman defense. So, but the first person I want to go over again, why I'm optimistic. Well, first things foremost, this guy has a good track record. Okay, our DC has a good track record, putting Minnesota as a top 10 defense for the year, and he seems to have an emphasis from hearing him speak, and he understands exactly what the Florida athlete brings to the table. On top of that, he's also very connected to Mauro Cristobal because he's part of the Greg Schiano coaching tree. And we know that Greg Schiano put together one of the best defenses in the history of the Miami Hurricanes. A big part of it in terms of recruiting is also a big part of it in the schematics. And he understands how South Florida players like to play, and they're built for attacking. They are built to be an attacking defense. So that's what I think we're going to get back to as far as Canes football goes. And that's what makes me very and extremely excited this upcoming season for what we're about to see. So let's get into some perspectives as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is Mesidor a little bit, right? Hakeem Mesidor is quite an interesting character because you could put him at the interior and you could put him at the end position. And 2022, pretty consistent, 30 total tackles, 4 pass deflections, and he had 7 sacks as well. In 2024, not so bad either, 32 total tackles and 5.5 sacks for the team as well. In 2023, he was dealing with injuries, so we didn't see much of him on the field. He is expected to be this year a full-time defensive end. Miami is pretty decently loaded with some experience and some young guys at the tackle position. So I'm very excited to see Mesidor at end. I do think he will be part of a rotation because Miami is also very much loaded at DN, especially with younger players. But these players are really, really good coming out of high school. So I do expect Mesidor to be rotated, but I do expect him to play end quite a bit. I also think that one of the biggest tragedies of Mesidor was that on many occasions he was asked to cover the flat and not allowed to go after the quarterback. Okay, I understand Guidry's perspective in doing that, and the reason why I say that is because when you look at Guidry's defenses, especially when it's over at Marshall, the defensive end would be out there in the flats, making sure that there weren't any leaks in case of a blitzing situation where the linebacker was coming in, a cornerback or a safety was coming in to be blitzing. So the defensive end, in many cases, in Guidry's defense, would go out into the flats to make sure there were no leaks. For example, the running back leaking out to be able to get the check down and get for a first down. All right. But Mesidor is just not your guy to do that. Okay. Mesidor isn't that guy. You're better off having someone who's younger and a little thinner, a little quicker to do that. Or you just have a linebacker do it on your defensive side, on your defense. So I don't expect Mesidor to do that anymore. Basically, get into pass coverage, get into the flats to prevent leaks in case of blitzing situations. But I do expect the sack numbers to go up, and I do expect us to be better at the run because I do think he could be able to set his edges quite a bit. So I'm excited to see what we do with Mesidor this season. And I do think, again, cautiously optimistic, I do think that Heatherman is going to fit that mold. Now, Ruben Bain, the next guy I'm going to talk about is Ruben Bain. He is quite a phenomenon. Coming out of high school, 77 sacks for his career, an amazing senior year, absolutely dominant on defense. He was a force, all right? A full-on force to be reckoned with. He was just that dude, and he was that dude as a true freshman, in which he got all ACC honors. Again, 77 sacks is nothing to sneeze at. His first year as a true freshman, 44 total tackles. He forced 3 fumbles and had 7.5 sacks. He missed quite a few games, right, his sophomore season due to injury, because he only had 3.5 sacks on 25 total tackles. I do think, again, the same thing with Mesidor. I do think Bain's numbers will get better as he will be moving to the end position full-time. He won't be being used inside like he was last year as well. So I do think you'll be seeing a full-time Ruben Bain at the end position, and I do expect him. Also, I believe he's actually shredded some pounds. I do expect him to be faster and be quite the intimidating force for a right tackle in general, for whatever scheme that Coach Heatherman wants to call. So I am excited about both these guys. I do think that they're going to anchor defensive end position, and I do think that for Miami to be very successful, I do think that front four has got to be solid, right? Especially at the ends, okay? The end position, you got to get pressure on the quarterback. One of the reasons why our secondary was exposed last season is because of the fact that the front four just didn't do its job. It didn't get there in time. The one game that I felt that they did their job, and of course was against the Gators, okay? But I also felt that they did a very solid job, especially second quarter forward against Wake Forest. They dominated that game on all cylinders, both on offense and defense, and Miami blew them out. That's the kind of football we wanted to see the Canes play. The Miami defense also in that game was much more aggressive, attacking as well. They put Mish Powell, I felt, in the right position, playing the nickel. He had a pick 6 in that game as well. So I do think, and Ruben had a sack in that game as well. So I do think that if they just play like that, have an attacking style defense, simplify the defense, there's no reason why Mesidor and Bain can't eat. We have a very, very athletic front four, athletic linebackers, athletic defensive backs. If they just do their job and do their assignments, it's very difficult to defeat this football team no matter whom they face. If offense does its job and defense does its job, if you have a balanced offense and a balanced defense, where the defense forces turnovers, gets sacks, pressures, is disruptive both in the passing game and in the running game as well, the offense could eat and cook no matter how difficult the situation will be. Okay, so that's pretty much where I'm at as far as our defense this year. I'm cautiously optimistic, but the defensive end position is going to be very key this year, especially on 3rd and long, so they can get off the field and get Carson Beck out there with the offensive unit and pummel these football teams. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That's it for me as far as this topic goes. I do want to say tomorrow night, 9 p.m., I'll be live. Yes, live with You Heard Chalupa Batman. All right, we'll be talking about some recruiting since he does a very good job on his on the show, basically talking to recruits, going over film with them, and we'll also get his outlook on what the 2025 season will look like. And this Thursday night as well at 9 p.m. Not done yet. Finally, Alex from the East 10th Street Boys, Hialeah Boys from the FTSN Network will be on the show to discuss who has the tougher players, the NBA or the NHL. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. If you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. Go Canes. All about to you guys. Bye-bye.